Hello everyone, on behalf of Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology, I welcome you all to the video demonstration on preparation of cakes. Today we are going to see sponge cake with fresh cream and buttercream icing. For cake preparation, initially all the ingredients are weighed. Ingredients like refined wheat flour, sugar, egg, cake gel, water, vegetable oil, baking powder are all weighed and kept. To begin with, initially, some of the ingredients are creamed. They are egg, cake gel that is mixed with water, sugar. So now you can see the ingredients are added to the planetary mixer and they are mixed at the very high speed for 10 minutes. During mixing, the essence is added. This is vanilla essence. Since we are making plain sponge, we are adding the vanilla essence. We will also add the vanilla powder at a later stage. This is called the creaming process, what you see, and this would raise the volume of the mix by 2 times by incorporating air. Next, the dry ingredients are weighed, especially the refined wheat flour, baking powder, and the vanilla powder. After weighing, they are sieved and then added to the planetary mixer. Now all the ingredients are folded into one. The mixing takes place at a lower speed for about 5 minutes, after which we have to stop it and then add the vegetable oil. The vegetable oil is added and then mixed for 1 minute. After this, the prepared batter will be added to the greased trays. Those trays will be kept inside for baking. So you can see this butter paper put at the bottom. This would avoid cakes getting stuck to the surface of the trays. Here again we are preparing chocolate sponge. Again you can see the ingredients. The one extra ingredient is chocolate powder. You can replace 50 gram of maida with 50 gram of chocolate powder in the formulation. So the ingredients are weighed separately and kept. Then the cake gel is mixed with water and it's made ready for doing the creaming process. Egg, the cake gel, sugar, water are all added and then creaming is done for about 10 minutes in the planetary mixer, also called as Hobart mixer. This is the prime equipment we use in bakery. Here again, the essence or the flavor is added in between mixing and then the mixing is continued for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, there is rise in volume of the mix and then now we are adding the dry ingredients, which is cocoa powder, baking powder and the refined wheat flour. Baking powder is the chemical leavening agent which we use here, which produces carbon dioxide upon reaction with moisture and heat during baking. That creates the porous structure to the cakes. After creaming, what you do is you add the dry ingredients now as you're seeing in the picture, and then the Hobart mixer is started at a low speed and mixing is done for 5 minutes. After which vegetable oil is added and then the mixing is continued for 1 minute. So the cake batter is now ready. This will be put on into the greased trays or trays which have butter paper at the bottom. You can see the consistency of the cake batter. It is very smooth and has incorporated a lot of air in it. That's why the volume is increased. And during baking, the baking powder will release the carbon dioxide and then there is the porous structure created. You can see the cake batter is loaded onto the trolley. This trolley will be put into the convection oven for baking. So now you can see the trolley moved into the convection oven. Here we preset the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and once the temperature is 180 degrees Celsius, we will put the trolley inside and will start the oven. This is a rotary oven, so there's uniform heating. The baking is carried out for 20 minutes, and then we have to do checking whether the cake is baked or not. This is done with skewers. We will insert the skewers into the cake and just see whether the skewers are still wet or not. If it is wet, baking is continued for 2-3 minutes. Otherwise, if it is dry, we can remove the baked cake from the oven. So now the cake is ready, and then it has to be cooled to room temperature before doing any other process. Until it cools, we can prepare the icing. As I already mentioned, we're going to prepare buttercream icing and then fresh cream ice cream. So in butter icing, what we have to do is equal quantity of butter and then icing sugar are taken, and then they are mixed for 20 minutes in the planetary mixer. So this buttercream icing have a long shelf life in refrigerated conditions, at least for 1 week. But the fresh cream icing has a very short shelf life. It has to be kept at freezer, and shelf life is less than a day. So now we are seeing buttercream preparation. Butter and icing sugar are added into the Hobart or planetary mixer and is mixed at a very high speed for 20 minutes. Then the buttercream is taken out and it is now going to be applied on the sponge cake which we have prepared already. So now we are taking the plain sponge prepared out of vanilla essence and powder. Now the butter paper is removed and the cake is leveled out by cutting the uneven surface at the top. The sponge is divided into 3 slices, and then meanwhile we prepare sugar syrup by using 100 gram of sugar and 200 gram of water, and then boiling it and cooling it, and by filtering it we are preparing the sugar syrup. So these slices now will be taken and icing will be done. So this is the cake table which you can turn it and easily use it. So this is the sugar syrup we have prepared. This is especially to give the sweetness and softness to the product. So one slice is kept, and then now the buttercream icing is spread on the slice. So it's spread completely on all the sides. So you can see it is easily applied by turning the table. So after which the next 2 slices are also similarly worked, and you can see the second slice and third slice are kept one over the above, and then the buttercream is spread on all the sides. Now you can do decorations similarly using piping cones which you can get from the market. This you can insert nozzles with different designs, and you can create your own patterns. You can also decorate the surface of the cake with molten chocolate that will solidify after cooling. So this is how sponge cake with buttercream icing is made. You can also spray food colors on the surface and decorate the cake. So these are all the ingredients which we have used in making this sponge cake with butter icing. So any additive we use is all food grade. So this is how sponge cake with butter icing is made. And now we will show sponge cake with fresh cream icing. We have another base made with chocolate. So now we are going to use in fresh cream the whipping cream. So the whipped cream is purchased from the market, and 1 liter of it is taken, and then it is mixed for about 10 minutes in planetary mixer. This rises in volume to a higher level, that's why a bigger planetary mixer is used. See, you can see the frothy consistency. This high amount of incorporation of air. So this product is really rich, and fresh cream icing is costlier than the buttercream icing. So now we can see the chocolate sponge and which is added. Yeah, here you can see the fresh cream is spread, and before which sugar syrup is added to the sponge. This is mainly to give sweetness and softness to the product. Now fresh cream is applied all over the surface, and tools were used to decorate the cake. Here chocolate is melted and then cooled and then is applied on the cake surface. With the piping we can also decorate the cake on the sides and the top surface. With the fresh cream cakes, you decorate especially with fresh fruits, fruit crush, nuts, etc. This is how cakes are made, especially the sponge cake with buttercream icing and the fresh cream icing. Thank you everyone for attending this session. Hello everyone. On behalf of Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology, I welcome you all to the session on preparation of puff pastry. The ingredients required are refined wheat flour, sugar, salt, and water and puff fat. All the ingredients are weighed separately and kept. The puff fat is separated into two portions, one which is smaller portion which is 50 gram and the other one which is 500 gram for 1 kg of refined wheat flour. Initially, the dough is prepared with the smaller portion of puff fat. In this picture, you can see the ingredients are sequentially added to the planetary mixer, and then you can see finally the water is added. So you can see the spindle is very different from what we used for cake. The bowl is now inserted and then the mixer is connected and then the machine is turned on. So mixing is done to the extent the material does not stick to the sides of the bowl. It is approximately 10 minutes. The dough is then taken out and then it is manually sheeted on a work table using a roller pin. So this manual sheeting is to about 8 mm thickness. So now you can see before sheeting, dusting is done on the work table using the refined wheat flour. So a roller pin is taken and then it is pressed and rolled. So dusting is a very important thing because the material should not stick to the surface of the work table. So here it is uniformly sheeted and then the remaining puff fat, which is 500 gram, is applied all over the surface and the sheet is folded on all the sides. The ends are closed so that the fat does not leak out. You can see the ends are now closed on both the sides, after which it will be folded. So this is the manual sheeting, after which we will send it for dough sheeter where the machine will sheet the dough. The folding is complete. Now you can see the manually sheeted dough is taken to the dough sheeter. This is the instrument which can sheet the dough. Here we will sheet the dough for 2 times. So sheeting and resheeting creates the flaky structure for the puff pastry. The conveyor is dusted and also the surface of the manually sheeted dough is dusted and the clearance of the dough sheeter is set and then it is sent for the first time. So now the dough sheet is kept parallel to the conveyor and then it is sent into the machine. Now again dusting is done and then the sheet is kept perpendicular to the conveyor and it will again be sent into the dough sheeter. Still This is the first sheeting in the machine. After which second sheeting will be carried out in the similar way. So it will be folded similarly as we saw in the manual sheeting, and it is be dusted, and then second sheeting will be done now in the machine. After sheeting, the dough have to be rested, because during sheeting the solid fat would melt and then would ooze out from the dough. So to avoid that, resting is a process we carry it after sheeting the dough in the machine. So you can see second sheeting is completed in the machine, and this will be folded again in a similar way from the sides. Tips are closed, and then again the other two sides are folded, and this will be put into the freezer so that the fat solidifies, and the time is for half an hour. Meanwhile, what we do is we are going to prepare stuffings for puff pastry. So there are two types of stuffings: vegetarian based stuffings and then meat based stuffings. The major ingredients we usually use in India are onions, ginger garlic paste, and masalas like garam masala, coriander powder, chili powder, etc. So the ingredient we use are mixed vegetables or boiled chana or boiled potatoes. So this stuffing is prepared and is kept for cooling, so that after resting the dough we can again process it, and then the stuffs can be kept. So you can see the dough is now rested. Now final sheeting is done in the machine. So again similar process is carried out, and we achieve a final thickness of 3 to 4 mm. This sheeted material is taken to the work table for cutting them into the required shapes and size. So using the roller pin, it is collected and then put on the dusted work table. Using pizza cutter, we are cutting them into required shape and size. Here we use 16 by 8 centimeter size, and then to avoid drying we are spraying them with water. So now stuffings are kept on the cut sheet of the dough, and then now it is closed and pressed. So to have a glossy surface, we can do egg wash. How it is done is the egg albumin is taken and then nicely beaten, and then it has to be brushed on the surface. This would give a glossy appearance after baking. So when we start the process only, we have to switch on the oven to 220 degrees Celsius. So puffs are baked at 220 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes in rotary oven here. Since it's a rotary oven, baking is very uniform and you don't see charring of the products. So once baking is done, we have to take out and cool the puffs before packing them. This is how puff pastry is made. Thank you.